Hey guys, I just wanted to tell you a little bit more about my book that's coming up. I'm going to be releasing my brand new collection, Coffee and Paper Cuts, um, on Sunday, the 22nd of May. But part of what I wanted to tell you guys about was a little bit more about the process and the things that happen and were done during the making of the book. So I'm going to be telling you on Wednesdays about some of the images created for Coffee and Paper Cuts. Now, if you're familiar with my work and you've seen some of my behind the poem stories, you know about my last book, Chasing Apollo. Now, in Chasing Apollo, I learned a new trick. The poetry was based on the images I took on my holiday. And so this time round, I wanted to do the same process, but I wanted to do it with photographs that inspired some of the poems that we're talking about. So the poetry quote that I posted yesterday was from a poem called Dishes in the Sink. And one of the inspiring kind of things about Dishes in the Sink is that it happens after a big kind of dinner that I have, usually around Thanksgiving. And it happens when I'm struggling with things and I just can't be asked to do one dish or two dishes at a time. Now, what you see on the screen is the original photograph that I took after a Thanksgiving dinner that I held at my house. I'm originally from the States, although I've lived in the UK for almost 20 years. I usually host my British friends and any American friends that I have over for Thanksgiving dinner every November. What you see is the aftermath of one of those Thanksgiving dinners. And I thought it was representative of the concept of dishes in the sink, where it builds up and it builds up and it builds up. So the way that I create the illustrations for my books, both Chasing Apollo and the upcoming one, Coffee and Paper Cuts, is I use a program called Deep Art Effects. Now, it's a really cool kind of funky AI program where you put a photograph into the system, and then you can go through and you can select different art styles. And whatever style you choose, the AI will alter the photograph to any degree that you want to be in that art style. So Dishes in the Sink was kind of based on the concept of not getting around to doing the dishes, which I hate doing. And the photograph altered into this kind of painting-like image for the illustration. It's a really fun process. And I know that there are lots and lots and lots of programs out there for AI, for putting in words to make into a painting, for putting in photographs to make into a painting. I find it really easy to use. And so whenever I do my illustrations, I will be using Deep Art Effects. But I thought you might be interested in the process and some of the images that are in Coffee and Paper Cuts that cannot be found other places. So when I have my book launch, I will be making competitions for some of those images. I'll tell you a little bit more about that next week, but what's really important is that you go to my Eventbrite link, which is in the comments, and reserve your ticket, which is free, to come to my book launch and learn a little bit more about my work and hear a little bit more of the poetry and potentially win yourself a poster of some of my images. I will talk to you tomorrow and I will tell you a little bit more about my forthcoming project, but tell your friends, book your ticket, and I'll see you then.